thing I do to circle back, because I think this is a big thing or a big piece, is the avoidant energy, the not wanting to confront things, and getting good at confrontation, right? So then there's that word, right? Like, oh, confrontation, right? Man, people do not like confrontation. We run away from it. We avoid it. Well, I would implore you to change how you look at that, because whether you're going to graduate to the next level, and the next level is predicated on how well you do confrontation, right? And then there's degrees to this. You graduate to the next level of confrontation, to the next level, right? And you need to be able to do it well, right? You want to be good at it, but it is something that you have to master and you have to run towards on this growth journey. You have got to get good at it. And you have to recognize in yourself, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that do have avoidant tendencies, or um, they an avoidant attachment style, to where when things come up, their nervous system goes into fight or flight. It triggers them, and their self-defense mechanism is to run, avoid it, not address it. It'll go away, whatever. And because they learned at a young age that that's how you survive, right? And it worked for survival. But if you're trying to go on the growth journey, well, then you're moving out of survival mode and you're trying to move into thriving mode, right? And if you want to thrive, you can't run from stuff. So you have to develop the skill and the ability to run towards it, sit in it, and then work through it, right?
I like to say run with it.
Run, yeah, there you go.
Like,
Run with it, own it, right? Take its power away, right? And own it. And then if you get really good at that process, things have less and less power over you, right? And then you're not afraid to have tough conversations. You're because if you can learn, because step one is to confront yourself, right? So if you're good at having tough conversations with yourself,
mhm,
then you can eventually start having tough conversations with others, right? And then it takes the sting away from it. So if you are able to go through the dark night of the soul, right? Then it makes those tough conversations and tough situations with others that much easier, right? It doesn't mean that it's easy. It just lessens the control it has over you and over that situation, to
mhm.
where you're able to see clearly and move the way that you wanted to move and get the outcome that you were looking for.
Your fear's reduced.
100%.
Like, that's been the thing. It's like you got you got a wall of fear, and then and then when it's gone, you can walk freely. Like, and it's you can use all kind of analogies, but for the more to summarize, the harder when you can have hard conversations with yourself, you get reps, you build confidence, and then it's easy to have or the fear is not easy. The fear is now reduced, lowered, less. So then you're less friction around having hard conversations with others, people outside of yourself, because there's just the thing that was stopping you before, the same thing that's stopping you with having the hard conversations with yourself is the fear.
Yep.
And then that's where the avoidant, the running, what are you running? What do you mean, Carter? You're running from yourself? Yeah, you're running from the fear around that
It's
it was
also a
present.
very real nervous system response that's happening, right? Your nervous system is firing off. And so you are decreasing its intensity every time you do it. Every time you run towards it, every time you work through it, it loses its power. It's no longer as intense as it once was, right? So the intensity every time you do it gets knocked down a little, a little, a little, a little, and a little. or little by little, it gets knocked down. So, and that's, I want that to be a focus. I want that to be something that we are running towards, not from an understanding that in order to get to where we're trying to go, that is something that we have to gain mastery over, and then realize if you are that attachment style. But then you have the opposite. You have the anxious, right? Who wants to, they are running to everything, right? And they just, they want to make everything better. I gotta solve it, and but they're doing that from a anxious energy, and they don't have boundaries, and they don't have respect for themselves to a degree in those situations, and then they can also get taken advantage of and then find themselves in a vicious cycle as well. And the moral of the story here is don't run from the problem, run to it. And then when you get there, you have to try to calm down, control the energy, and work through it. So you don't want to be in a fearful, like, nervous energy, and you don't wanna be in an anxious, anxiety energy either. You want to try to work through both of those and then run the problem-solving method, identify the problem, identify the root cause, and then work through it, and then transmute those energies that you're feeling into positive energies. And one thing that helps significantly is if you can remember gratitude in that moment
Mhm.
and then start running through and feeling things that you're grateful for, and it'll help take the sting away. And then now you're developing that skill, right? And but it's remembering to do it, wanting to do it, and being having the courage to run to it, not from it. So that's just something that I'm glad we touched on in the beginning, because that is a very, very big deal and a very important skill that I don't think enough people talk about. Um, and especially if you want to be a leader, you have to be very good at that because that's pretty much all you do every day. You just have tough conversations with people. And if you're scared of that or you don't like having them, it's not going to go well for you. And you're probably not going to make it. And then, because step one is just running towards them, but just because you run towards it doesn't mean anything. Now you got to execute. Now you have to be able to get through that emotion. You got to be able to not escalate or, make things worse. You need to be able to actually work through the energy, work through the problem, and get to a solution that's balanced and makes sense. So
And that's gonna stick.
that's going to
Like,
stick. Yeah.
you like, it's a very complex, running to it's step 1, and then when you get just because you run to it, when you get there doesn't mean you know what to do. And I think as when you start, you just have confidence that, episode 1 is not gonna look like episode 100, or attempt 1 is not gonna look like 100. But if you think you can wait your way to attempt 100, that's not the way the game's played. So you're not gonna be able to wait your way through. No one's coming to save you, or no one's going to do rep 100 through 99 for you. So so sure, it would be nice to know what to do when you get there, but confronting the problem is is required. And then when you confront 25, 30 problems, now you're gonna start to get some momentum around what do I do once I get there? And so, but again, um, it's just like with hitting on recapping the morning routine, acknowledging that a morning routine makes sense is step 1. And then polishing, adjusting, changing, tracking the morning routine, and then coming, day 100, you're you're going to look like someone who's had a morning routine their whole life, because why? You've got 100 reps at it. Start tomorrow and just start small, start simple, start somewhere.
Yep.
But having all of that focused intensity, and then that calm gratitude, like, be proud of yourself for a moment that you're even open to trying to have to make improvement.
Yep.
I think that's important. Like, the fact you don't sure, you don't know what to do, and that's okay. Someone who's ahead of you on the journey or at day 100, they're starting to get some momentum. Be proud of them. Also, let that inspire you because that shows you that gives you confidence that it's possible and that what it can look like. But then also take a short moment, because I'm guilty of this, of struggling to get my hands on gratitude because I feel like I haven't done enough. And there's a dichotomy there because just starting and then choosing consistently, um, improvement, like keeping the ego in check, not that there's some healthy, parts of that comment as well, is all of it's true. Sure, um, you haven't done enough if depending on how you're looking at it, sure, that's true. But then to say that you haven't done anything, that's not healthy. To say, "Hey, we're not there yet," valid. To say, "Hey, to beat yourself up over things just because you missed today, don't discount all the other days of all the momentum that you've put effort into and you've exuded energy and you've invested energy into. um that's why the pause is so important. For me at least, is to be able to take a moment to look to acknowledge all of it and to acknowledge like, hey, this went really well. This was done Could have done that a lot better, and then not being lazy with that or not discounting it, actually, like, saying that with a lot of passion, like, "I coulda done that a lot better, and here's how," and then creating a system or a process or a tool to then the next time that thing shows itself, I'm gonna run this play, and that's been, very helpful to me, but for the to encourage the audience, be proud for a moment that you're even acknowledging that there's a better way to do whatever it is you're doing, whether that be building a business or raising children or just being you. As simple as that sounds, ju you know, because that's kind of a big deal when we think of the concept of life, right? Like it could have not been us that got to be born. So when you think about it in that from that lens, when you're making an effort to improve yourself and then your impact at this university or in this universe, um, there's a lot to be said about people who are trying to improve and who are making a conscious effort to begin exploring what their purpose is gonna be and what life means to them instead of being so distracted by what's around you that you just I call it bouncing off the walls. You're just reacting to everything. I'm very inspired and I'm encouraged by people that I see choosing their life, as opposed to letting someone else choose it